White sports supporters, well, this league and these players literally cannot get out of their own way. I read this and was like, you gotta be kidding me.
He has been under constant pressure every single day, and then one report completely caught him off guard during a live appearance. Pay close attention to his reaction, because by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why he responded that way and why his frustration may actually be justified.
Viral moment of the year that did not include Caitlin Clark getting a fist to her throat was the point by Sophie Cunningham that literally exploded across social media and everywhere else.
One pointed finger, one intense look, and not a single word spoken, yet it became the most shared image the league produced all season. Keep that moment in mind, because everything that follows makes sense once you realize it wasn't just a memorable highlight. It was the birth of a powerful brand right before everyone's eyes. So, what happens when a league accidentally creates its biggest symbol? Surprisingly, it didn't respond the way any smart business would.
That to hurt a lot of feelings. Sophie Cunningham is the #2 biggest star in this league. She's above Asia, she's above Angel. I don't give a shit about the play on the court. That may hurt your feelings. Let your feelings be hurt. Sophie Cunningham, literally, from a publicity standpoint, from a reach standpoint, she's slaying everybody that's not named Caitlin Clark.
Comparing her popularity to Olympic gold medalists is a bold claim, and if you're only looking at basketball, it may sound unbelievable. But this isn't really about on-court performance. It's about influence and public attention. That's where the numbers become hard to ignore. Cunningham's social media following reportedly grew rapidly across multiple platforms last season. Her jersey sold out within hours after the well-known Connecticut incident, and videos featuring her reached millions of views, even on accounts that had never covered women's basketball before. You may disagree with the opinion, but it's difficult to dismiss the impact. Keep one important detail in mind, because later in this story, a real rejection memo sent to an actual company reveals a single word that changes everything. That one word turns what seemed like a simple sports controversy into a much bigger business mistake. And once you see it, you'll understand why so many people in the business world were surprised. But before that, it's important to know who first revealed this story, because the source is what makes it so significant.
This and was like, wow. Darren Rovell. Now, guys, in case you don't know who Darren Rovell is, he is one of the leading insiders when it comes to sports business. He was on ESPN for years and years and years, doing stories involving, for example, media rights deals, etc., etc. Think Sports Business Journal or some entity like that. He doesn't work for them, but that's his lane. Andrew Brandt is another one that's really good. But he's a sports business.
And that's exactly why his background matters. Darren Rovell isn't someone chasing attention online. He built his reputation at ESPN and CNBC by covering the business side of sports, including media rights, trading cards, sponsorships, and licensing deals that most fans never notice. People across the sports industry trust his reporting, so when someone with his experience says companies were being turned away, it suggests that real businesses with real marketing budgets were ready to invest. That's why this story goes far beyond social media drama or personal opinions. It's about official decisions and revenue that was ready to come in. But before looking at those rejections, it's important to understand just how deeply this gesture had already become part of the culture, because that's what makes the decisions so difficult to understand.
Scott Agnes put out a story. Every camper gets a photo with Sophie Cunningham, and as you can expect, they all want to do the signature point. So let's look at it right here. Scott Agnes put this out.
You get 1 point in the ball. 1 point in the ball. If it's a common foul,
look at that. The young lady's black. Look at that.
Look beyond the simple photo, because what Scott Agnes is describing is exactly what every marketing executive hopes to create. Every child at the camp wanted to pose with the signature point in their picture. These kids weren't following last season's drama or holding on to any rivalry. To them, the gesture wasn't an insult. It was something fun and exciting to copy. Just like previous generations repeated Michael Jordan's shrug or Stephen Curry's famous celebration without knowing the original story, this moment had taken on a life of its own. That's when a gesture stops being part of a rivalry and becomes a recognizable brand. Companies spend millions trying to create symbols this memorable, but very few ever succeed. This one happened naturally, gained popularity on its own, and was already a perfect fit for merchandise of all kinds.
She pointed at Wnba. Everybody remember that? That's what happened. She pointed at Wnba. This thing went mega viral for 2 weeks. The White House posted it. She ended up as a UFC ring girl because of this moment.
The story behind the moment feels like something straight out of a basketball movie. A respected veteran left Indiana in the middle of the season after a difficult split, later joined Phoenix, and when the two teams finally faced each other again, Sophie Cunningham finished a play by pointing directly at Wnba. There was no pushing, no trash talk, and no argument, just one simple gesture. The internet took over from there, and the image spread everywhere for weeks. According to this account, even the White House social media team referenced the moment, and Sophie was later seen doing the same gesture with UFC star Max Holloway inside the octagon. Whether every detail deserves the same level of attention or not, one thing is clear: the moment grew far beyond basketball. It reached people who didn't even follow the WNBA, giving the league the kind of mainstream attention it has been trying to earn for decades, all because of one unscripted moment that lasted only a second.
Again, she was the #1 women's trending athlete in the country last year on Google. On Google, the #1 was this lady right here, Sophie Cunningham.
She reportedly became the most searched female athlete in the country, ranking ahead of tennis stars, gymnasts, and even Olympic champions. Think about what that means, because online search interest is one of the clearest signs of real public attention. People search because they're genuinely curious, not because they have to. By that measure, the league had one of the biggest names in all of women's sports. Add it all together: a signature gesture that kids were copying, a moment reportedly highlighted by the White House, and a player whose name people across the country were searching for. Most successful businesses would see that kind of popularity as a major opportunity. But according to these reports, the league chose a very different path.
Takes us back to Darren Rovell. The WNBA Players Association is currently prohibiting licensees from using the Sophie Cunningham point, saying that it is, quote, derogatory. What? What? That is...
According to Darren Rovell's reporting, the WNBPA is telling licensing companies they cannot use Sophie Cunningham's signature pointing gesture, reportedly describing it as derogatory. That single word is at the center of the controversy. To understand why it matters, it's important to know how player licensing works. When a company wants to use a player's name, image, or a memorable moment on products like t-shirts, trading cards, posters, or bobbleheads, those deals usually go through the union's group licensing process. Once approved, the products are released and the revenue is shared with the players. If this report is accurate, the decision did not come from the league office or a court. It came from the organization responsible for helping players maximize their earnings. That means one of the most recognizable pieces of player branding the league has seen in years was reportedly rejected. Even more notable, the reported reason was not about timing, contract terms, or financial negotiations. Instead, the gesture was reportedly considered morally inappropriate by being labeled as derogatory, turning a valuable marketing opportunity into a much larger debate.
Sophie Cunningham, I would be kicking and screaming. What? I saw this and was like, oh, this league is ate up with the perpetually offended. The most viral moment of the year can't get licenses because you got players that were...
Before accepting that clip as the full story, it's worth looking at the union side because there is a reasonable argument to consider. At the same time, it's important to separate confirmed facts from assumptions. The report assumes which players were offended and why, but no official names, explanations, or internal statements have been released. Based on what's publicly known, the gesture was directed at Wnba, who is also a WNBPA member and a two-time champion with more than 15 years in the league. The players' union represents every player, not just its biggest stars, so it's understandable if it wanted to protect one of its members. When the moment first went viral, opinions were divided. Some fans viewed it as one of the season's most entertaining moments, while others believed it crossed the line by targeting a respected veteran during a difficult period of her career. Some of the online reactions also became personal and unfair, so the concern wasn't completely made up. However, protecting a player's dignity and completely blocking a licensing opportunity are two very different decisions. Sports history is filled with memorable moments that began as competitive taunts, but later became iconic. Dikembe Mutombo turned his famous finger wag, once penalized by referees, into a widely recognized trademark featured in major advertisements. Allen Iverson's step over Tyronn Lue became one of basketball's most famous images, and the NFL eventually embraced touchdown celebrations because fans loved them. Competitive gestures have long been part of sports culture and marketing. If every memorable moment that upset an opponent was treated as unacceptable, much of the sports memorabilia business would disappear.
Well answered, yes, it's very real. Just spoke to someone with a big company who showed me their rejection. They got a rejection. They sent them a rejection memo is what happened.
That clip raises two important points, and one of them needs to be addressed immediately. Blaming Wnba for the reported union licensing decision is pure speculation. There has been no reporting or evidence showing that she requested or influenced the decision. A players' association makes decisions as a group, not through the choice of one individual. Pointing fingers at her without proof only turns a business discussion into personal harassment, and that's not supported by the facts. The second point is a valid one. Is this report actually true, or is it just another rumor spreading online? That's the question everyone wants answered, and the response he received is where the story becomes even more interesting.
You've heard of businesses and shooting themselves in the foot, going left when they should have went right.
When a skeptic challenged the report and called it fake, Darren Rovell stood by his claim without hesitation. He said he personally spoke with a major company and saw the written rejection himself. If that account is accurate, it means a legitimate business was prepared to invest in merchandise based on Sophie's signature point, followed the official licensing process, and was denied in writing. That goes beyond rumors or online speculation. It suggests there was real commercial interest backed by paperwork. If the report is correct, the impact wouldn't be limited to Sophie Cunningham alone. Revenue from group licensing is generally shared among all members of the players' union, meaning the rejected opportunity could have affected earnings for every player, including those who may have supported the decision.
When they don't want to allow you to make money, or they're so short-sighted that they won't allow a license or whatever on that moment, they should have had product out, licenses out the next day. And they're telling people no.
The timing makes the reported decision even more surprising. If the report is accurate, it came from the same players' union that chose to opt out of its collective bargaining agreement early, while publicly pushing for a larger share of league revenue. During All-Star Weekend, players wore "Pay us what you owe us" shirts to argue that the league was undervaluing their contributions. Their case is supported by strong business growth, including reports of a media rights deal worth around $200 million per year, expansion franchises paying roughly $250 million in fees, and record attendance and viewership. Viral moments like this are a major part of that success because they attract new fans in ways traditional advertising cannot. That's why, if the report is true, rejecting one of the most recognizable and marketable pieces of player branding created in recent years appears difficult to reconcile with the union's goal of increasing player revenue. It's also important to make one distinction. The reported decision came from the Players Association, not the league office. They are separate organizations with different leadership. However, most casual fans are unlikely to notice that difference. From their perspective, it simply looks like the sport turned down a product that many people wanted to buy.
Deserves to go out of business. Out of business.
He makes a strong point about the timing, and that's what makes the situation so frustrating. Once the moment went viral, the fastest and most effective business move would have been to approve the merchandise and release it while public interest was at its highest. Sports leagues do this all the time. Championship apparel is produced almost immediately, and viral moments are often turned into official products within days. If there were concerns about how the gesture affected Wnba, there were other ways to handle it. For example, part of the proceeds could have been donated to a charity she supports, or the merchandise could have been designed around the rivalry with both players involved and sharing the benefits. That approach could have turned a controversy into a positive story while creating even more interest. If Darren Rovell's reporting is accurate, however, the opportunity passed without action, and moments like that rarely come back once the excitement fades. That leads to his final conclusion, where he takes the argument in a direction not everyone may agree with. This is where opinions begin to differ. A league doesn't deserve to fail because of one reported licensing decision by its players' union. More than 150 players had no role in that choice, and they are competing in a season that has delivered record attendance and strong viewership. Wanting the entire league to suffer over one business decision isn't accountability. Real accountability would mean the union clearly explaining its reasoning or reconsidering the decision if it cannot publicly justify it. Going forward, there are 3 key things to watch: whether the WNBPA responds, changes its position, or stays silent; whether Sophie Cunningham comments on the situation, since she has never been afraid to speak her mind; and whether this issue becomes part of future collective bargaining discussions, where team owners could point to it as an example during negotiations over the business side of the sport. In the end, the debate comes down to 2 opposing views. Either the union chose to protect a veteran player and accepted the financial cost, or it passed on one of the biggest free marketing opportunities the league has seen in years. Share your opinion in the comments, and if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you won't miss the next big story.